Hello everyone, this is Jeffrey. Currently doing my master's at University of Stavanger in Norway. I'm presenting on the topic, the possible effects of creatine and other nutritional supplements on renal function among bodybuilders. This will be my outline for the presentation. Let's get it started. I define bodybuilding as the use of progressive resistant exercise to control and develop one's musculature. Bodybuilding is an activity that dated in the past, notably among the Greeks, where they used to train in places called gymnasia or naked place. You can see the picture here. The picture in your shot shows is a picture of Alpha the German bodybuilder, also known as Iron Master, who was also a circus performer. In our research, we try to inquire about the reasons why most people, especially the gentlemen or men, indulge in bodybuilding. And the few among the many reasons where they say they want to build their bodies to improve their self-confidence. Others also stated that to change or to have a sudden change in physique and look attractive to the opposite sex. And last but not the least, some also said they want to gain attention. With their huge body, they just step out into the crowd and everybody starts looking at them, and that's what they wanted. And so they did get themselves involved in bodybuilding. We have Arnold Schwarzenegger, the 7-time Olympian champion, Ronnie Coleman, 8-time Olympian champion, and a local champion in Ghana called Sani Mohammed, who was the Ghana most strongest in 2013. We have Kai Green also here. These are world or international bodybuilders. This funny caricature is trying to is trying to highlight something. This is a normal man who looks lean, with lean muscle, but sees himself in this way, in a very special way. So he's trying to ask himself or inquire how he can get this form. And this leads us to what we call nutritional supplements. International bodybuilding without nutritional supplements, we can't do away with that. So I define nutritional supplements as a product intended for ingestion that contain a dietary ingredient aimed to add further nutritional value to the diet, also known as ergogenic or therapeutic aids. Vitamins, glutathione, proteins, amino acids, and creatine are the notable nutritional supplements in bodybuilding. But for the purpose of our research, we are going to target or focus mainly on proteins, amino acids, creatine, and some derivatives of proteins and amino acids. We have the proteins and the derivatives. You have glutamine, beta-hydroxy, beta-metabutyrate, arginine, and an essential amino acid, lysine, then leucine, isoleucine, which are also branched-chain amino acids. Branched-chain amino acids, basically what they do is they prevent muscle breakdown, okay, and also stimulate protein synthesis and always keeping the muscle in shape. That's why these bodybuilders, in addition to their main meal, they add these substances or these aids or these foods to their diet. I would say foods here. Some even consume more than they eat. Interesting. And we have whey, soy, and casein. Creatine. Creatine is synthesized from 3 amino acids, 2 non-essential amino acids, and an essential amino acid. Glycine is the only arginine is the only essential amino acid. In the skeletal muscle, creatine exists in 2 forms. You can have creatine as free form or as a phosphocreatine when it's bound to a phosphate group. Pancreas, liver, and kidney are the sites of production of creatine. Let me highlight on the catabolism of creatine, how catabolism is broken down to 8 product or is catabolic product. That's the creatinine. That's the breakdown product of creatine. Is creatinine. So we start with L-arginine. That's the most active form of arginine. So there's a transfer of this group. There's transfer of this group catalyzed by arginine glycine transaminase. This reaction occurs in the liver with the release of ornithine. So through a series of reactions occurring in the liver, we have a transfer of a phosphate group from ATP to ADP. We have an enzyme guanidoacetate methyltransferase involved. It is a complex reaction. I want to keep it very simple. So the take home is L-arginine condenses with glycine. Through a series of reaction, there is a release of ornithine. In the liver, there's an enzyme called guanidoacetate methyltransferase, where where phosphate is transferred from ATP to creatine to form creatine phosphate. Creatine phosphate is the active form of creatine, which is stored in the skeletal muscle during output or during exercise. So through a non-enzymatic reactions in the muscle, this creatine phosphate is broken down to form creatinine, which is the breakdown product, which is the excreted product of creatine. 60% of creatine is bound to phosphate to form phosphocreatine when the body is at rest. Normal cellular energy production involves the breakdown of ATP to release energy and ADP and phosphate. So to restore phosphocreatine, the ADP phosphate group is transferred to ADP to form what? ATP and creatine. This inorganic phosphate group is transferred to ADP. So we are here, we regenerate the ATP and the creatine. So it can be said that when you have more phosphocreatine stores, there's more power output, and we can maintain exercise for a longer period and increase performance. Now we come to the therapeutic use of creatine. Not only do bodybuilders use creatine, it's also used medically or therapeutically in conditions such as muscular dystrophy and Garrett atrophy. Let me highlight on this. Garrett atrophy is just a progressive loss of vision in the point or retina. So with Garrett, it is characterized by a progressive loss of vision. Yes, it is genetically inherited, the disease. And muscular atrophy also is defined by muscle weakness from where there's loss of muscle, weakness in the muscle. So people with muscular dystrophy always feel weak. So with creatine supplementation, they tend to have more energy, or they tend to there's more energy. They get more energy from the creatine phosphate, which gives them cool. To measure renal function, there are three main biomarkers, which are uric acid, urea, and creatinine. So I shall highlight on each of them. I start with uric acid. Uric acid is a breakdown product of most nucleic acid and during metabolism. Increased levels of uric acid is found in conditions such as leukemia and arteriosclerosis and renal dysfunction, like I said. There are three methods of determining uric acid levels. You have the ferric reduction, phosphotamine reduction, and the enzymatic reaction. But the commonest way of determining uric acid is the enzymatic method, because it is very specific and most accurate, unlike the phosphotamine reduction, which lack specificity and very cumbersome. Normal levels of uric acid is measured between 202 to 406 micromoles per liter for males and 142 to 330 micromoles per liter for females. In the enzymatic method, uricase together with peroxidase, 4-amidine and 2,4,6-tribromo-3-hydroxybenzoic acid, or TBHBA. Uricase reacts with this compound. There's a formation of red quinone-imine complex. So the color intensity of this complex is proportional to the level of uric acid. So if you have a deeper red color, it tells us that you have a higher concentration of uric acid in your biological sample. It could be serum, or plasma. Sometimes they use urine. Urea as another biomarker for renal assessment. It's also a metabolite or waste product eliminated by the kidney. It's a colorless solid and very soluble in water. I think it forms a major component of urine. Normal ranges are 1.7 to 8.3 millimole per liter for males and females. Here, like uric acid determination, the enzymatic method is also used. In the enzymatic method, the enzyme urease catalyzes the conversion of urea to ammonia and carbon dioxide. So the ammonia produced here reacts with a mixture of containing salicylate. The salicylate is a mixture in the reagents used. When you were working, these are reagents for the enzymatic method contain salicylate, hypochlorite, and nitroprusside. So in the presence, when the ammonia produced from the first reaction reacts with this complex mixture or mixture, it gives a blue-green color in an indo compound. So measured at a wavelength of 578 nanometers. Like the urea, the intensity of the color gives a measure of the concentration of urea produced. And finally, our last biomarker we determined was creatinine. Creatinine, we focus much on creatinine because it is the most important of all the three biomarkers for determining renal function. Not because we are being biased, but creatinine is the only biomarker that is not affected by any other external agent, such as diet. Fluctuations in you can have fluctuations in uric acid levels or urea acid levels from diet and other external conditions. Even under disease conditions, you can have fluctuations in these levels. But for creatinine, its production is fairly constant, and that it is not influenced by any other agent. That's why creatinine becomes a very good biomarker for measuring renal function. And in males, the normal value is from 53 to 125 micromole per liter, and in females is 49 to 110 micromole per liter in females. The principle is very simple. Picric acid, which is a reagent, reacts with creatinine to form an orange complex, which an alkaline medium. The intensity of the color form, the orange color form, is directly proportional to the amount of creatinine in our biological sample. This was determined spectrophotometrically, so it was single to meter. So we just run our sample, we just get our sample and just run it to determine the level of creatinine. Now, why did we take this? Why did we take this week? Because we addressed the problem. There was a problem we needed to address and find solution for. So we said there had been some anecdotal side effects that have been reported: asthma, diarrhea, stomach upset, and stomach cramps, loss of appetite, and sometimes gout and muscle cramps. So the potential negative health impact these nutritional supplements can pose on organs was still unclear. That's why we took up this project as a current statement. Notably, there are more athletes coming up, and more everybody wants to get results within some few time. That's making nutritional supplement usage very rampant or very common. And there was a postulation that prolonged use of this creatine and other nutritional supplements can have a nephrotoxic effect that could be detrimental. We had less information. There had been less information. Information remains scanty, and that there's a need for us to work more into this work. So information remains scanty, and this research aims to assess the function, renal function of bodybuilders who take these creatine and other nutritional supplements. Our main objective was to assess the renal function of the bodybuilders who take creatine and the other nutritional supplements. Specifically, we were trying to determine the levels of creatinine, uric acid, and urea levels. This study will provide information on the possible effects of creatine and other nutritional supplements on renal function, as the growth of sports has led to an increment in the use of creatine since it gained a widespread in the early 90s, like I said, and in the early 90s and 80s and 90s from the Arnold Schwarzenegger and the Guy Green at the time. This research was done in Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, where these are common gym centers, the common gym centers, the Unity Hall, University Hall, and the other the University Hall Gym, Queen's Hall Gym, and the local gym center. In all, we recruited 40 participants. 20 of them were bodybuilders not on supplements. 10 were bodybuilders who were on supplements, and 20 were bodybuilders, 20 who were not on supplements, and 10 were non-bodybuilders, like I said. Exclusion criteria were healthy bodybuilders above the age of 18 with no medical condition or having diagnosis of any nephrotoxic or any nephro disease. So we excluded all those who have been diagnosed of renal problems. This scheme simply shows a method. There was a work structure questionnaire to obtain dietary information, demographics, and anthropometry from the bodybuilders. From this data, from the anthropometry, we had an idea of their BMI and others. We phlebotomists, we took a blood sample. We used blood sample. We used a serum. Biochemical assay was run, and photospectrometrically, we determined the levels of these biomarkers. We analyzed our results using SPSS version 20. Results and discussion. Majority of our participants were within the age of 18 to 24, with 3 who were above 24. This shows the description of the participants. The parameters were their BMI, as we obtained from the anthropometry, their creatinine, urea, and uric acid levels. This shows the maximum and the minimum values, as well as the standard deviation and means of these parameters. This histogram shows the supplements, bodybuilders on supplements, and those not on supplements. Like I said in the previous slide, 20 of the bodybuilders were not on supplements, 10 were on supplements. This also shows the distribution of the various nutritional supplements and creatine. You have creatine, protein, whey, Herbalife, and there are also some combinations of these substances. Some were taking creatine and whey for faster results. Some were also taking combining creatine, protein, and Herbalife. Others also took proteins and amino acids. The amino acids were specifically branching amino acids. When it comes to the quantity of the supplementation, less than 5 grams. 3 people took less than 5 grams daily. Others also took 5 people took 6 to 10 grams. Those who needed faster, quicker results took more than that, 16 to 20, and one person took more than 20, which exceeded the normal recommended daily allowance of these nutrition supplements. We also describe the serum parameters. We have creatinine, urea, and uric acid. Minimum values and maximum values are shown here with the means and standard deviation. So this shows the description of the bodybuilders on supplements, creatinine, urea, and uric acid. We also had the minimum values, the maximum values, the mean and standard deviation. This shows the normal values. Okay. And the bodybuilders not on supplements, that means the raw bodybuilders. This also shows their serum parameters, creatinine, urea, uric acid. The minimum, maximum, mean and standard deviation values were also recorded. And lastly, the descriptive statistics of the non-bodybuilders. They were more or less like our control. Okay. So in conclusion, we observed that renal impairment was not observed in any of the 3 test groups. There were only elevated levels of uric acid in all the participants owing to the consumption of high protein diet, because we obtained these their dietary information from the questionnaire, which consequently led to an elevated levels of uric acid. Urea and creatinine levels were normal in all the 3 test groups. Therefore, we concluded that creatine and other nutritional supplements had no effect on renal function. Thank you very much. Thank you for your attention. Thank you. See you. Bye-bye.